I stood in that restaurant, diploma in hand, watching my mother embrace my twin sister Emma like she had just won the Nobel Prize. The envelope she handed Emma was thick, expensive looking. Emma opened it with trembling hands and screamed. A fully paid 3-week trip to Europe. $15,000 worth of hotels, flights, tours, everything. My mother actually had tears in her eyes when she said, "You deserve the world, sweetheart." Then my father slid a small card across the table to me. I opened it. An $11 coffee shop gift card fell out, along with a handwritten note about learning gratitude and understanding the value of earning things myself. My parents proceeded to lecture me about entitlement while Emma smirked into her champagne. I smiled, congratulated my sister, and made a decision right there that would change everything. I drove home that night in silence, while my parents and Emma continued their celebration at the house. They were laughing when I walked past the living room, already planning Emma's European itinerary like I did not exist. I went straight to my bedroom and started packing. I had been preparing for this moment longer than I wanted to admit, hoping I would never actually need to use my escape plan. My duffel bag came out of the closet first. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop, chargers, documents. Everything essential fit into 2 bags and a backpack. I had been working part-time throughout college at a campus IT help desk, fixing computers and doing basic network maintenance. While Emma received a monthly allowance of $800 from our parents for fun money, I had been depositing every paycheck into a separate bank account my parents did not know existed. 20 hours a week for 4 years, living as cheaply as possible. The balance sat at $7,942. I took one last look around my childhood bedroom. The walls were bare because my parents said decorations were wasteful. The desk was scarred and wobbly because it was a hand-me-down from a garage sale. The laptop I was packing had been purchased with my own money after my parents refused to buy me one for college, saying I could use the library computers. Emma had received a top-of-the-line MacBook Pro for her 18th birthday. I got a dictionary. I walked downstairs at 1 in the morning. The house was finally quiet. I left the $11 gift card on the kitchen counter with a note written on the back of their grocery list. "Thanks for everything. I'll take it from here." Then I loaded my car and drove away from the only home I had ever known. The extended stay hotel was perfect. I had researched it weeks ago when I realized graduation might be the breaking point. It was clean, affordable, and offered weekly rates that fit my budget. The night clerk barely looked up when I checked in. I climbed the stairs to room 212, unlocked the door, and sat on the edge of the bed in the dark. This had been my entire life. When Emma and I turned 16, she got a car. A used Honda Civic, but still a car with a bow on it in the driveway on our birthday morning. I got a bike lock and a lecture about responsibility. When we turned 18 and prepared for college, Emma received a brand new laptop, a tablet, a printer, and a complete dorm room setup. I got a dictionary and was told I should be grateful for the opportunity to get an education at all. Throughout college, every single one of Emma's expenses was covered. Tuition, housing, meal plan, books, spending money. I took out student loans for tuition, worked 30 hours a week while carrying a full course load, ate ramen and peanut butter sandwiches for most meals, and bought used textbooks online that were 3 editions old. When Emma struggled with a class, my parents hired her a tutor. When I struggled, my father told me to try harder and stop making excuses. Emma studied psychology and maintained a 3.2 grade point average while partying 3 nights a week. I studied software engineering and graduated with a 3.9 while working myself half to death. At graduation that afternoon, we had both walked across the same stage and received our diplomas. The difference was that Emma had my parents' applause and pride. I had their criticism and an $11 gift card. I lay back on the hotel bed and stared at the ceiling. My phone sat silent on the nightstand. I knew it would not stay that way for long. I woke up at 7 in the morning to my phone, vibrating so hard it was dancing across the nightstand. 17 missed calls from my mother, 12 from my father, 6 from Emma. I let it ring 3 more times before I finally answered. Blair, where are you? Why did you leave? Do you have any idea how worried we've been? My mother's voice was shrill, panicked in a way I had never heard before. I'm fine, Mom. I moved out. I'm 22 years old, and I graduated college yesterday. It seemed like the right time. Moved out? Blair, you can't just leave without discussing this with us. We're a family. You need to come home right now, so we can talk about this properly. There's nothing to discuss. I'm an adult, and I'm starting my own life. This is about the gift, isn't it? Blair, you're being incredibly immature. That gift was meant to teach you a valuable lesson about gratitude and not expecting handouts. You're acting like a spoiled child right now. I almost laughed. Almost. Is that why you called 17 times? To tell me I'm immature? There was a pause. Then my mother's voice changed, becoming sharper. Emma found out about your scholarship this morning. The Henderson Merit Scholarship. $50,000, Blair. And you didn't tell us? There it was. The real reason for the frantic calls. Not concern for my safety or well-being. Not regret over how they had treated me. They were upset because Emma was upset that I had achieved something she had not. The Henderson Merit Scholarship was the most prestigious award given by my university. Only 3 graduates each year received it, selected based on academic achievement, innovative project work, and demonstrated leadership. I had found out 2 weeks before graduation when the dean called me personally. The announcement had been made at the graduation ceremony yesterday, but my parents had been too busy fawning over Emma to notice. I earned that scholarship through 4 years of hard work. It has nothing to do with you or Emma. Nothing to do with us? Blair, we're your family. Emma is devastated. She worked so hard in college and now she feels like her accomplishments don't matter because you got this award and you didn't even tell us. She's been crying all morning. You need to come home and apologize to your sister, and we need to discuss how we're going to handle this as a family. Handle what exactly? An award I earned by myself? Don't take that tone with me, young man. Your sister deserves respect and consideration. She's struggling right now and you're being selfish. Come home immediately. I took a breath and let it out slowly. No, Mom. I'm not coming home. Not now and probably not ever. Emma can handle her own feelings about my success. You and Dad can handle your disappointment that I didn't fail like you expected. I'm done being the scapegoat. Have a nice life. I hung up. Then I turned my phone completely off and sat in the quiet hotel room, feeling lighter than I had in years. I spent the next 3 days in a productive blur. Phone back on but ignoring family calls. I updated my resume, polished my portfolio website, and started applying for software engineering positions. My portfolio was strong because I had spent 4 years building it independently. My parents had refused to buy me the equipment I needed, so I had used university computer labs at night, teaching myself advanced programming languages and frameworks that were not even part of my coursework. On the 4th day, my phone rang with an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello, is this Blair Henderson? Yes, this is Blair. Blair, this is Carol Winters from Tech Vista Solutions. We received your application for our junior developer position and we're very impressed with your portfolio. Would you be available for an interview tomorrow afternoon? Tech Vista Solutions was a mid-sized tech company with about 200 employees, known for their innovative approach to cloud-based business solutions. They had been growing rapidly over the past 3 years and had a reputation for treating their developers well. Yes, absolutely. I'm available whenever works for you. The interview was incredible. I met with the development team lead, Janet Morrison, and 2 senior developers. We talked about my capstone project, a machine learning application that optimized database queries in real time. We discussed my approach to problem solving and my experience with different programming frameworks. They asked thoughtful questions and seemed genuinely interested in my answers. At the end of the interview, Janet smiled and said, Blair, I'm not supposed to tell you this yet, but I'm going to anyway. We want to offer you this position. Carol will call you tomorrow with the formal offer. But I wanted you to know that we're excited to have you on our team. I walked out of that building floating. This was real. This was actually happening. The next morning, Carol called with the official offer. $72,000 per year starting salary, full health and dental benefits, 4 weeks paid time off, and the possibility of remote work after a 90-day probationary period. The position would start in 1 week. I accepted immediately. I found a studio apartment that same afternoon. It was small but clean, in a safe neighborhood, with utilities included. The rent was $1,200 per month, which I could easily afford on my new salary. The landlord, a middle-aged man named Tom Garcia, ran my credit and background check and approved me on the spot. "You're a good kid," he said, handing me the keys. "I can tell. Welcome to the building." For the first time in my life, things were working out. I had a job that valued my skills, an apartment of my own, and genuine hope for my future. Then, 4 days before my start date, Carol called again. "Blair, I need to speak with you about something urgent. Can you come to the office this afternoon?" My stomach dropped. "Is everything okay? Let's discuss it in person. 3 o'clock work for you?" I arrived at 2:45, anxiety clawing at my chest. Carol met me in a small conference room, and her expression was uncomfortable. "Blair, I'm going to be direct with you. We received a phone call yesterday from someone claiming to be Dr. Richard Hartley, a professor from your university. This person alleged that you plagiarized your senior capstone project and that you're currently under academic investigation. They provided very specific details about the project and about university policies. Given the seriousness of these allegations, we need to place your job offer on hold pending verification." I felt the blood drain from my face. That's completely false. Dr. Hartley was my capstone advisor. He gave me the highest grade in the class. "Who called you?" The caller identified himself as Dr. Hartley and provided a phone number. He sounded very credible, very professional. He said he felt obligated to inform us before you started employment. "Can I have that phone number?" Carol hesitated, then wrote it on a piece of paper and slid it across the table. I looked at it, and my hands started shaking. I recognized that number. It was my father's office line at his accounting firm. "Carol, this is fraud." That was not Dr. Hartley. That was my father, impersonating my professor to sabotage my job offer. Carol's eyes widened. "Your father?" "My family and I are estranged as of a few days ago. I left home after graduation, and they're not happy about it. This is retaliation." I pulled out my phone. "I'm calling Dr. Hartley right now. You can listen." Dr. Hartley answered on the 3rd ring. I explained the situation while Carol listened. Dr. Hartley was furious. "Blair, I never made any such call. Your capstone project was entirely original work, and I have all your progress reports and revision history to prove it. This is identity theft and fraud. I'm contacting the university legal department immediately." I thanked him and hung up. Carol looked shaken. "Blair, I'm so sorry. This is extremely unusual. I need to escalate this to our legal team, but I believe you. Can you provide documentation?" Over the next 2 days, I gathered everything. The university registrar provided phone records, showing the call had come from my father's business line. Dr. Hartley provided a signed letter affirming my original work, along with time-stamped files showing my project's development over an entire semester. I had revision history, code commits, meeting notes, everything. I sent it all to Carol. She called me back within hours. "Blair, we're reinstating your offer effective immediately. I'm horrified by what your family did. We're also documenting this incident. If anyone else calls claiming to provide references for you, we'll be verifying their identity very carefully." I started the job 1 week later, exactly as planned. But I started it knowing something terrible and clarifying. My parents were willing to commit fraud to destroy my opportunities. They would rather see me fail than succeed independently. Tech Vista was everything I had hoped it would be. The office culture was collaborative and supportive. Janet turned out to be an excellent mentor, patient and encouraging. Within my first week, I was contributing to real projects, and my code was being praised for its clarity and efficiency. I made friends quickly. Marcus Webb and Tyler Brooks were the other two junior developers on my team, both around my age. We started eating lunch together every day, talking about everything from coding challenges to weekend plans to our favorite pizza places. Tyler was obsessed with rock climbing and kept trying to convince Marcus and me to go with him. Marcus was quieter, thoughtful, with a dry sense of humor that caught me off guard and made me laugh. For the first time, I had colleagues who treated me as an equal, people who valued my input, a workplace where my contributions mattered. 2 weeks into the job, Emma texted me. It was the first contact I had received from any family member since I hung up on my mother. "Hey Blair, can we talk? I feel terrible about everything that happened at graduation. I want to make things right." I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to believe her. Part of me desperately wanted my sister back, wanted to believe that maybe she had realized how wrong everything had been. I texted back, "What do you want to talk about? Can we meet for coffee? Just the two of us. I want to apologize in person and see if we can fix our relationship. I miss my brother." Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a cafe near my apartment on Saturday morning. Emma arrived looking subdued, none of her usual confidence and superiority. She hugged me, and I let her, feeling awkward and uncertain. We sat down with our coffees, and Emma started talking. "Blair, I've been doing a lot of thinking since graduation. I was horrible to you. Our parents were horrible to you. I'm so sorry. I know you don't believe me, but I mean it." "What changed?" I asked carefully. "I started therapy. My therapist helped me realize how toxic our family dynamic was, how Mom and Dad played favorites, and how I benefited from that at your expense. I want to be better. I want us to have a real relationship." It sounded sincere. It sounded like genuine self-awareness and growth. I wanted so badly for it to be real. "I appreciate you saying that, Emma. How's your new job? Mom mentioned you're working at some tech company, Tech Vista Solutions. It's going really well. I'm learning a lot and my team is great." "That's amazing. What kind of work are you doing?" I told her about my projects, the team structure, the technologies we were using. She asked good questions and seemed genuinely interested. We talked for over an hour. She told me about her graduate program in psychology, how she was struggling with the statistics and data analysis requirements. "Blair, I hate to ask this, but would you be willing to help me with one of my assignments? It involves some basic programming for data analysis, and I'm completely lost. I would pay you, or I could trade you something. I just really need help." I hesitated. This felt like a test. But if Emma was genuinely trying to change, maybe helping her was the right thing to do. Maybe this was how we rebuilt our relationship. "I can help you. You don't need to pay me. Just send me the assignment details and we can set up a time." Emma's face lit up. "Really? Blair, thank you so much. This means the world to me." We met the following Saturday at the same cafe. Emma brought her laptop and her coursework. The assignment was about analyzing survey data using statistical software and basic scripting. I spent 3 hours walking her through the concepts, teaching her how to approach the problem, helping her write the code but making sure she understood what she was doing. She took notes diligently and asked thoughtful questions. When we finished, she hugged me again. "You're such a good teacher, Blair. Thank you for being patient with me. I really think we can make this work, you know? Being siblings again." I drove home feeling cautiously optimistic. Maybe people could change. Maybe Emma was genuinely trying. On Wednesday, Janet called me into her office. Carol from HR was there too. They both looked serious. "Blair, we need to talk to you about something concerning," Janet said. "Sit down." My stomach twisted. "What's going on?" Carol pulled up her laptop and turned it toward me. "Over the past few days, someone has been posting about you on professional networking sites and local community forums. The posts claim, "You're a fraud, who steals others' work and takes credit for team projects." They include your full name, your photo, and TechVista's name. I stared at the screen. There were 5 different posts on 5 different platforms. Each was written from a different account, supposedly from different people: former classmates, former coworkers, concerned community members. The posts were detailed and convincing. They described specific situations that sounded plausible. They warned other professionals to be careful working with me. The photo they used was recent. I was sitting at the cafe, wearing the shirt I had worn last Saturday, taken from an angle that showed my face clearly, but looked candid, like I did not know I was being photographed. "This is Emma," I said quietly. "My sister." I explained everything. The coffee shop meetings, the reconciliation attempt, the way she had asked detailed questions about my work. Janet and Carol listened, their expressions growing more concerned. "Can you prove this?" Carol asked. I started digging. The accounts had all been created within a 2-day period. I contacted the platforms and requested IP address information, claiming harassment. 3 of them responded. All 3 posts had been made from IP addresses that traced back to the coffee shop where Emma and I had met, specifically during the time slots when we were there together. I showed Janet and Carol the evidence. Emma had photographed me secretly during our meetings. She had gathered information about my work by pretending to rebuild our relationship. Then she had created a coordinated campaign to destroy my professional reputation. "Blair, we're not firing you," Janet said firmly. "You're an excellent developer, and we believe you, but we need you to resolve this. These posts are starting to show up when people search your name online, and that reflects on TechVista too." I texted Emma with screenshots of the posts and the IP address evidence. "I know this was you. Why?" Her response came back within minutes. A laughing emoji. Then, "Mom and Dad are right about you. You don't deserve good things. You never did." I showed the text to Janet and Carol. Carol immediately contacted TechVista's legal team. Within 2 days, the posts were reported and removed from most platforms. But the damage lingered. Cached versions existed. Screenshots had been shared. When someone searched my name, suggestions and snippets still appeared. My sister had tried to destroy my career before it even started, and she had done it by pretending to care about me. I filed police reports for harassment and defamation. I documented everything meticulously. The detective assigned to my case, a tired-looking woman named Detective Sarah Phillips, told me that cases like mine were difficult to prosecute, but that I was doing everything right by keeping records. "Family stuff is always the worst," she said. "I'm sorry you're going through this." Despite everything happening outside of work, I continued performing well at my job. Janet became more than just my supervisor. She became a mentor and an advocate. When I had a particularly rough day after finding another cached version of Emma's posts online, Janet took me out for coffee and told me about her own experience with a toxic family member. "You're handling this with incredible professionalism," she said. "That takes strength. Don't let them make you doubt yourself." 3 months into my job, I received a small raise and a commendation for my work on a critical project that had optimized one of our clients' databases. The client had specifically mentioned my contributions in their feedback. Janet presented me with a certificate during a team meeting, and everyone applauded. Marcus and Tyler took me out for beers afterward to celebrate. I was building a real life, a good life. Then the second disbursement from the Henderson Merit Scholarship arrived. I had forgotten about it in the chaos of everything else. The scholarship included an additional $25,000 released after graduation, meant for professional development, equipment purchases, or graduate school funding. The check arrived at my apartment on a Thursday afternoon. I deposited it Friday morning. Combined with 3 months of salary savings and my original savings, I now had over $50,000 in my account. For someone who had lived on ramen and peanut butter sandwiches for 4 years, this felt like genuine wealth. This felt like security. On Sunday morning, I tried to check my account balance, and found my online banking access was locked. I called the bank immediately. "Mr. Henderson, there's a legal hold on your account," the customer service representative explained. "You'll need to visit a branch to speak with a manager." I drove to the bank Monday morning before work, anxiety churning in my stomach. The branch manager, a stern-looking man in his 50s named Robert Chen, invited me into his office. "Mr. Henderson, your account has been frozen due to a lawsuit filed against you. The claim alleges that you stole money from a joint family account and that the funds in your account are proceeds from that theft. That's insane. I haven't had access to any joint account since I turned 18. Every dollar in my account is from my own paychecks and my scholarship. I understand your frustration, but the court order is valid. The account will remain frozen until the lawsuit is resolved. I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do." I walked out of the bank in a daze. $50,000, completely inaccessible. I had $300 in cash in my wallet. My rent was due in 5 days. I had a car payment coming. I had been planning to buy a decent used car to replace my aging vehicle. Instead, I was suddenly facing potential homelessness. I called the law firm listed on the court documents. The lawyer, a man named Richard Stone, was sickeningly polite. "Ah, yes, the Henderson matter. Your parents have made very serious allegations about misappropriated funds. We have documentation of a joint account that you had access to and evidence of withdrawals that correspond with deposits into your personal account. I never had access to any joint account. Those deposits are from my paychecks and my scholarship. This is a fraudulent lawsuit." "Well, Mr. Henderson, that's what the courts are for. If you believe the allegations are false, I suggest you retain counsel, and we'll see you in court." I contacted legal aid services. The receptionist was sympathetic but clear. The waiting list for assistance was 6 weeks minimum. I could file paperwork to request an emergency hearing, but that would still take at least 2 weeks, and there was no guarantee my account would be unfrozen in the meantime. I was trapped. My parents knew I could not afford a lawyer. They knew I was living paycheck to paycheck despite my good salary because I had just started working. They knew freezing my account would put me in immediate crisis. They were counting on me being forced to come home, to submit to their control, to drop all the police reports and harassment claims, and be their scapegoat again. I called my landlord and explained the situation. Tom Garcia listened carefully. "Blair, I believe you. You've been a good tenant. But I have a mortgage to pay. I can give you 2 weeks to figure this out. If you can't pay rent by then, I'll have to start the eviction process. I'm sorry." I thanked him and hung up. Then I sat in my apartment and tried to figure out how to survive the next 2 weeks. I sold my laptop on Craigslist for $600, using my work computer instead. I sold my television, my gaming console, some furniture. I scraped together enough for rent and bought the cheapest groceries I could find. I started eating 1 meal a day. I stopped sleeping well, my mind racing through worst-case scenarios all night long. At work, I tried to focus, but I was falling apart. I lost weight. My code quality slipped. Marcus noticed and pulled me aside. "Dude, are you okay? You look terrible." "Family stuff," I said. "I'll be fine." But I was not fine. I was drowning. A week into the crisis, my parents' lawyer sent me a settlement offer. Drop all police reports and harassment claims against the family. Publicly apologize to Emma. Return home where they would support me while I got back on my feet. In exchange, they would drop the lawsuit. The message was clear. Submit or be destroyed. I sat in my apartment that night, staring at the settlement offer, and for the first time since I left home, I wondered if fighting was worth it. Maybe I should just give up. Maybe I should go back and accept being the scapegoat forever. Maybe trying to have my own life was just too hard. My phone was in my hand, my parents' number pulled up, ready to call and surrender, when Janet called me instead. "Blair, can you come to my office first thing tomorrow morning? Something's come up." My heart sank. I was being fired. I had to be. My performance had been slipping. I looked like hell, and I was obviously distracted. This was it. The final collapse. "Yeah," I said, my voice hollow. "I'll be there." I barely slept that night. I showed up at Janet's office at 8 in the morning, probably looking like a ghost. Janet took one look at me, and her expression shifted from professional to genuinely concerned. "Blair, sit down. You look like you haven't eaten in days." "I'm fine." "You're not fine. And I need to talk to you about something important. But first, I need you to be completely honest with me. What's going on?" I broke. I told her everything. The lawsuit, the frozen bank account, selling my possessions to pay rent, eating one meal a day, the settlement offer. I told her I was thinking about giving up, about going back, about letting my parents win because I was too tired and too broke to keep fighting. Janet listened to everything without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. "Blair, I shared your situation with Douglas Martinez, our CEO. I hope that's okay. I didn't include all the details, just the broad strokes about your family situation." My stomach dropped. "You told the CEO? Janet, I'm going to get fired." "No, Blair. Listen to me. Douglas built Tech Vista from nothing after escaping an abusive family situation himself. He was estranged from his parents for 15 years. When I told him what was happening to you, he recognized it immediately. He wants to help." "Help how?" "He's authorized an advance on your salary. $10,000, structured as a zero-interest loan to be repaid through small paycheck deductions over 2 years. If you accept, we can have the money transferred to a new bank account by this afternoon." I stared at her. "Why would he do that?" "Because he's been where you are. And because you're a valuable employee who's going through hell. Also, Douglas personally connected you with a lawyer from his own firm who handles family law and harassment cases. Her name is Patricia Coleman. She's agreed to take your case pro bono after reviewing the evidence I sent her. She called it clear-cut harassment and fraudulent legal action." I could not speak. I literally could not form words. Janet pulled out a business card and handed it to me. "Patricia is expecting your call today. Douglas's assistant is setting up the loan paperwork. Blair, you're not alone in this. You have people who want to help you." I called Patricia Coleman from the parking lot. She answered on the second ring and got straight to business. "Blair, Janet sent me your documentation. Your parents filed a completely fraudulent lawsuit. The joint account they're claiming you stole from? It was closed 8 years ago when you were 14. I have the bank records. Every deposit in your current account corresponds exactly with your paycheck stubs and your scholarship documentation. This is textbook harassment and abuse of the legal system. Can you get my account unfrozen? I'm filing an emergency motion this afternoon. I'm also filing a countersuit against your parents for filing a fraudulent claim, harassment, defamation, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The judge is going to be furious when she sees what they've done. I can't pay you. You're not paying me. This is pro bono. Your case is exactly the kind of thing I went to law school to fight. Now, I need you to send me every piece of documentation you have. Paycheck stubs, scholarship letters, bank statements, everything. Can you do that today?" "Yes, absolutely." Patricia's emergency motion was heard within 3 days. I sat in the courtroom next to her, watching the judge review the evidence. My parents' lawyer, Richard Stone, tried to argue their case, but the judge cut him off. "Mr. Stone, this lawsuit is frivolous and borderline malicious. The documentation clearly shows that your clients have no legitimate claim to these funds. I'm ordering the bank to unfreeze Mr. Henderson's account immediately. Furthermore, I'm awarding Mr. Henderson his legal fees and court costs to be paid by the plaintiffs. This case is dismissed." The judge looked directly at my parents, who were sitting in the back of the courtroom looking smug until that moment. "Mr. and Mrs. Henderson, filing false legal claims is a serious matter. If you continue to harass your son, I will hold you in contempt. Do you understand?" My father stood up, angry. "Your Honor, our son has been disrespectful and—" "Sit down, Mr. Henderson. I don't want to hear it. This hearing is over." Patricia also secured a temporary restraining order. My parents, Emma, and anyone acting on their behalf were prohibited from contacting me or interfering with my employment. Violation would result in immediate arrest. I walked out of that courthouse, feeling like I could breathe for the first time in weeks. My bank account was unfrozen that afternoon. The $10,000 loan from Tech Vista was no longer necessary, but Douglas insisted I take it anyway, as a safety net. I could repay it when I was stable. That evening, I went to a real grocery store and bought real food. I ate until I was full for the first time in 2 weeks. Then I went home and slept for 12 hours straight. With my accounts restored and legal protection in place, I started rebuilding in earnest. I repaid Tech Vista's loan in 3 months instead of 2 years, putting extra money from each paycheck toward it. I moved to a better apartment in a nicer neighborhood. I started seeing a therapist, Dr. Lauren Bennett, who specialized in family trauma and helped me process the lifetime of abuse and the recent nightmare. "You didn't just survive," Dr. Bennett told me during one session. "You're thriving, despite everything they did to sabotage you. That's not luck, Blair. That's resilience and strength." Patricia's countersuit moved forward. During the discovery process, truly disturbing information emerged. My parents had been managing a college fund that my grandmother had established for me before she died when I was 12 years old. The fund had contained $40,000, specifically designated for my education expenses. My parents had told me it did not exist. They had used the money for Emma's expenses and their own purposes over 10 years. Patricia had bank records, account statements, and my grandmother's will. It was documented fraud. "This changes everything," Patricia explained. "Misappropriating a minor's inheritance is a serious crime. Your parents could face criminal charges beyond the civil suit." The evidence also revealed that Emma's graduate program had become aware of her online harassment campaign against me. Another student in her program, someone who had recognized the posts as fabricated and malicious, had reported Emma to the Academic Integrity Board. Emma was facing disciplinary hearings and possible expulsion for attempting to harm a peer's professional reputation, which violated her program's ethics code. Meanwhile, my parents' accounting firm was imploding. Several of their long-term clients had learned about the fraudulent lawsuit and the misappropriated inheritance through public court records. People talk in small business communities. Clients started leaving. My father's professional reputation was crumbling. Their income dropped dramatically. I did not take joy in any of this. I felt relief, not revenge. I was not happy they were suffering. I was happy I was finally free from their control. Then, on a Tuesday evening, 6 weeks after the court hearing, I heard knocking on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole and saw Emma. She looked terrible. Her hair was unwashed, her clothes rumpled, her face puffy from crying. I did not open the door. "Emma, there's a restraining order. You can't be here. Blair, please. Please just talk to me. I need help. I need you." Against every instinct screaming at me to call the police immediately, I opened the door but stayed in the doorway, not letting her inside. Emma immediately started crying. "I got expelled, Blair. I got expelled from my graduate program, and my career is over before it started. Mom and Dad are losing their business. Mom had a breakdown last week, and she's in a psychiatric hospital. Everything is falling apart, and it's all my fault. I know it's my fault. I was so horrible to you. I was cruel and manipulative, and I helped them abuse you your entire life. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." She looked genuinely broken. Part of me, the part that still remembered growing up with her, still remembered being 7 years old and building blanket forts together, wanted to comfort her. "Emma, you need to leave. You're violating the restraining order. Please, Blair. I'll do anything. If you drop the lawsuit, if you drop the restraining order, I'll testify against Mom and Dad. I'll tell the truth about everything. I'll make this right. Please, I can't lose everything. You're my brother. Please help me." I saw her desperation, and I hesitated. Just for a moment. And Emma saw that hesitation. She stepped closer, reaching for my hand. "We can fix this. We can be a family again. I'll be different. I'll be the sister you deserved. Just please, please help me." Something caught my eye. Emma's phone was in her jacket pocket, positioned outward, and there was a tiny red light barely visible. She was recording this conversation. "Emma, are you recording this?" Her expression flickered. Just for a second, something cold passed across her face before the desperate sadness returned. "What? No. Blair, I'm just trying to talk to you. Show me your phone." "Blair, come on, don't be paranoid. Show me your phone or leave right now." Emma's mask dropped. The crying stopped. Her face transformed into something hard and angry. "You're such a self-righteous ass. You know that? You destroyed our family. You got one stupid scholarship and you acted like you were better than all of us. You left and you filed your police reports and your lawsuits and you turned everyone against us. We were fine until you decided to be selfish. Get out, Emma." "You attacked me!" she suddenly screamed. "You invited me here and you attacked me. Help! Someone help me!" She lunged at me, grabbing for my phone. I stepped back and pushed her away, just trying to create distance. Emma deliberately stumbled backward and hit her arm on the hallway table. She screamed louder. "He's attacking me! Someone call the police! My brother is attacking me!" My neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, opened her door. She was a 70-something widow who had lived in the building for 20 years. She looked at the scene with sharp, clear eyes. "Young lady, I heard this entire conversation through these thin walls. This young man did nothing wrong. You came here to manipulate him, and when he refused, you tried to frame him for assault. I'm calling 911 right now, and I'll be telling them exactly what I witnessed." Emma's face went white. "You don't know what you're talking about, old woman." "I know exactly what I'm talking about. I was a family court social worker for 35 years. I know manipulation when I see it." Mrs. Patterson called the police while keeping herself between Emma and me. Emma kept screaming that I had attacked her, that I had invited her over, and then assaulted her. She was creating a scene for the other neighbors, trying to establish her version of events. The police arrived within 10 minutes. 2 officers, a younger man and an older woman. Emma immediately started crying again and showed them a bruise forming on her arm. "He invited me here, and then he attacked me. Look what he did. I just wanted to talk to my brother, and he hurt me." The older officer, whose name tag read Rodriguez, looked at me. "Sir, is this your sister?" "Yes. There's a restraining order in place that prohibits her from contacting me or coming to my home. I have documentation." I showed them the restraining order on my phone. Officer Rodriguez nodded and turned to Mrs. Patterson. "Ma'am, you called this in. What did you see?" Mrs. Patterson gave a clear, detailed account. Emma arriving and knocking. Me opening the door but staying in the doorway. Emma begging and crying. The conversation about the lawsuit. Me noticing Emma recording the interaction. Emma becoming angry when caught. Emma lunging at me. Me pushing her away in self-defense. Emma deliberately hitting her arm on the table and then screaming about being attacked. "I heard and saw everything from my doorway," Mrs. Patterson said firmly. "That young woman came here to manipulate this young man, and when she didn't get what she wanted, she tried to frame him for assault. I'm willing to provide a written statement and testify if necessary." Officer Rodriguez asked to see Emma's phone. Emma refused. "You can't take my phone without a warrant." "Ma'am, you're currently in violation of a restraining order, and you're being accused of filing a false police report. We can either do this the easy way or the hard way." Emma finally handed over her phone. The recording was right there in her voice memo app, still running. The officers listened to it and heard everything. Emma begging. Me refusing to drop the restraining order. Emma threatening. Emma's fake screaming. All of it captured on her own recording. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for violating a restraining order and assault. You have the right to remain silent." Emma screamed and cried and struggled as they handcuffed her. She looked at me with pure hatred. "I hope you're happy, Blair. You destroyed everything. I hope you're happy." The officers took statements from me and Mrs. Patterson. They photographed the scene, including the table Emma had hit, and the position of everything in the hallway. They confiscated Emma's phone as evidence. After they left, Mrs. Patterson patted my shoulder. "You're a good young man, I can tell. Don't let them make you doubt that." I thanked her and went back into my apartment. I sat on my couch and shook for an hour, processing how close I had come to being arrested for something I did not do. If Mrs. Patterson had not been home, if she had not heard everything, if she had not been willing to speak up, Emma's recording and her bruise would have been my word against hers. And nobody would have believed me. The weeks following Emma's arrest were a blur of legal proceedings. Patricia handled everything with ruthless efficiency. Emma was convicted of violating the restraining order and assault. The recording and Mrs. Patterson's testimony made the case ironclad. Emma received 18 months of probation, mandatory counseling, and 200 hours of community service. The attempted false accusation and secret recording were factored into her sentencing. Her criminal record meant her career in psychology was finished. No graduate program would accept her now. No licensing board would approve her. She had destroyed her own future trying to destroy mine. My parents' countersuit reached settlement negotiations. Patricia presented them with a choice: go to trial and face potential criminal charges for the inheritance fraud, or settle now and disappear from my life forever. They settled. They agreed to pay me $75,000, $40,000 for my grandmother's stolen college fund, plus $35,000 in damages and legal costs. They also signed a legal agreement never to contact me again, directly or indirectly. If they violated the agreement, they would face immediate criminal charges for the inheritance theft. Their accounting firm closed permanently 3 weeks later. They could not recover from the reputation damage and client losses. They sold their house and moved to a smaller home 2 hours away in a town where nobody knew their history. They were financially devastated and socially isolated. I did not celebrate their suffering. I felt a strange emptiness where anger used to be. I was not happy they were destroyed. I was just happy I was free. 6 months after Emma's arrest, my life looked completely different. I had been promoted to mid-level developer at Tech Vista, with a salary increase to $90,000 per year. Douglas Martinez personally congratulated me and told me I was exactly the kind of person he wanted building the company's future. Janet remained my mentor and became a genuine friend. Marcus and Tyler and I went hiking every other weekend. Tyler finally convinced me to try rock climbing, and I discovered I loved it. I was building friendships based on mutual respect and shared interests, not obligation and fear. I met someone. Her name was Ashley Morgan. She was a graphic designer who worked for a marketing firm in the same building as Tech Vista. We met in the coffee shop on the ground floor when she accidentally grabbed my order and I grabbed hers. We laughed about it, exchanged orders, and then she asked if I wanted to grab actual coffee sometime. Ashley came from a loving family. Her parents were warm and welcoming when I met them, treating me like I mattered just because their daughter cared about me. Her younger brother made terrible jokes and included me in their family game nights. Being around Ashley's family showed me what normal looked like, what healthy looked like. I used $20,000 from the settlement to establish a scholarship fund at my university, the Blair Henderson Fund for Independent Scholars. It was designated for students from difficult family situations who were working their way through college without parental support. The university's financial aid office would manage it and select recipients each year. I wanted to help other people who had lived the life I lived. The remaining $55,000 from the settlement, combined with my savings, gave me a financial cushion I had never imagined having. I was not wealthy, but I was secure. I could handle emergencies. I could plan for the future. I could breathe. One Saturday morning, about 8 months after everything ended, I found a letter in my mailbox. It had been forwarded from my old address. The return address was from the town my parents had moved to. The handwriting was my mother's. I sat in my car and stared at the envelope for 10 minutes before opening it. The letter was handwritten on simple notebook paper. No fancy stationery. No pretense. Dear Blair, I know I have no right to contact you. I know I signed an agreement promising I wouldn't. I'm not asking you to respond. I'm not asking for forgiveness or contact. I just need you to know something. I failed you. Your father and I failed you in every possible way. We played favorites. We were cruel. We undermined you and sabotaged you and treated you like you were worthless. We did it because it was easier than admitting that Emma needed more help and guidance, and because your independence and strength made us feel like failures as parents. None of that is an excuse. Nothing excuses what we did. We destroyed our family through our own selfishness and cruelty. We destroyed Emma by never holding her accountable and making her believe she was entitled to everything. And we nearly destroyed you, but you survived. You built a life. You succeeded despite everything we did to stop you. I'm not asking you to be proud of us or grateful to us. I'm just telling you that I'm aware of what we did. I understand now. Too late, but I understand. You deserved better. You deserved parents who celebrated your accomplishments and supported your dreams. You deserved a sister who was your friend and ally. You deserved love and respect and equality. I hope you're happy. I hope you've found people who value you the way you should have always been valued. I hope you never think about us at all. I'm sorry. Mom. I read the letter 3 times. Then I folded it carefully and put it in the glove compartment of my car. I did not know what to do with it. I did not know if I would ever respond. Maybe someday I would. Maybe I would not. But the letter did not control me. Her words did not control me. Nothing they did or said controlled me anymore. I drove to Ashley's apartment. We had plans to make brunch together and then go to a street festival downtown. When she opened the door, she smiled that bright, genuine smile that still made my heart skip. Hey you, ready for the best pancakes of your life? Because I'm about to blow your mind with my secret recipe. Can't wait. We cooked together in her small kitchen, laughing when I accidentally got flour on her nose and she retaliated by flicking water at me. We ate on her balcony, talking about everything and nothing. My phone buzzed with a text from Marcus, asking if I wanted to join him and Tyler for a climbing session next weekend. This was my life now. People who cared about me. Work that fulfilled me. A future I was building on my own terms. I had been given an $11 gift card and a lecture about gratitude at my college graduation. What I learned was that I deserved better. That demanding respect and equality did not make me ungrateful. That walking away from people who hurt me, even if they were family, was not selfish. It was necessary. I learned that family was not something you were born into. It was something you built with people who valued you, respected you, and celebrated your success instead of punishing you for it. I learned that success was not measured by what others gave you, but by what you built for yourself when they tried to tear you down. And most importantly, I learned that refusing to accept being treated as less than did not make me ungrateful or entitled. It made me strong. That $11 gift card taught me the most valuable lesson of my life. I was worth more than they said I was. I always had been. And realizing that was worth more than any trip to Europe could ever be. So here's what I want to know from you. Have you ever had to walk away from family or people who were supposed to love you? How did you find the strength to choose yourself? Share your story in the comments. I read every single one, and your experiences help other people feel less alone. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another story. And share this video with someone who needs to hear that they deserve better. Sometimes people need permission to choose themselves, and your share might be exactly what someone needs to see today. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being part of this community. I hope wherever you are, you're surrounded by people who value you the way you deserve. And if you're not there yet, I hope you find the courage to build that life for yourself. You deserve better. You always have. Take care of yourselves.